aku rangatira, nau mai rā I tēnei ata, nau mai ki te hōtaka a Marae, ki te mutunga o te wiki o te reo Māori. He wiki nui, engari, e haere tonu ana a māhuru Māori. Hioi anō, me kōrero I ngā wā katoa. Ka kōrero ahau kia Rob Ruha, a ko tonu ake nei. Engari, tuatahi. The proportion of rangatahi who go to school regularly has been falling, particularly in the last few years. Just under half of all tamariki are missing school regularly, and in some regions it's particularly worrisome. Our numbers are part of a global trend, and kaiak will say turning the ship around will take a monumental effort. Irena Smith went to visit a local kura on the east coast to see how the figures stack up, what's keeping kids at home, and what's being done to get them back to class.
Koine ngā akonga o te kura kaupapa Māori o te waiū o Ngāti Porou. Kua rite rātou ki te ako. Engari, te tai atu te nuinga o rātou ia te rā ki te kura. He raru nui kei te kitea whānuitia ki te maha o ngā kura I te tai rāwhiti I te motu anō hoki.
Miki 20 March 2020 pia, tau mai te karauna. Koina te tīmatanga pia. O te hekenga mai, o tēnei tuahua te taitau mai ki te kura. Mā mātou I te rāwhiti, kua uhi anō ētahi tohu o te tai ao. He raru nui, ka marangai, kei te koro au mo te marangai kino. Ki te marangai, kua kore ngā mātua tono mai ngā tamariki ki te kura, ngā mea pātata ki rua tōria, ai. Engai ngā mea kei off the 35 me ki, ka ata whakaro. Kāre tino mohe me ka tae te o rātou tamariki te hoki atu ki te kāinga, tahi kei te pai ngā pahi, māwai e tiki. Hera I te mea ka tae te tono mai, ka tahi ka mauhere pia ki te kura, nā reira. Ka noho ki te kāin kia whiti mai anō a tamanui te rā.
Ko Tania Hunter te kaihautu hou o te waka o te waiū. Kua toru te kautau neke atu ia e kura mahi tāna. Hei tāna, nā wai I kino, ka kino ke atu ngā tamariki matangaro.
E ngā rā whakatā, ka hakara whiu mai a tā whirimata. Kino, e rangi paki, tā karo whutuporo Ngāti Porou East Coast konei, e rangi a tāua, te hātarei, e heoi taua pōra, ka hakara whiu mai te hau. Ki kino, e rākau runga rori, e ngā rawa mai ngā whare puhi ai ki whare ke e rā momo āhuatanga. Kātahi ko te uira te kaha marangai. Heoi, te atamane, noho mai tātou ki te horo ki te karakia, ia mane ka karakia ākura. E whitu tukau pai henati o te rehita I konei. Tahi raurua tukau mai whitu ngā tamariki kei te rārangi ingoa. E taua ata tonu, he whitu tukau mā whā, whitu tukau mā ono, I tai mai ki te kura. Nā te aha, me ki, nā te marangai. Rain anxiety, koina ngā kupu kei karawhiu haere I te hāpori. Pēnā te raru, pēnā te nui me ki o te raru.
Kia rā tapu tau ingoa, kia tai mai tau rangatira tanga, kia me te ao tau e pai ai ki ringa I te whenua.
Ko ngā whika mō te wahanga tuarua o tēnei tau e tohu ai, o ngā akonga katoa I te tai rāwhiti me te mātaua Maui, he tata ki te 50 orau, e matangaro ana. Ko ngā rohe e rua nei, kua tūkinotia e te huarere taikaha.
I nā kino te huarere, kua ngaro tētahi mo te toru rā pia, toru rā o te wiki. Ki te marangai anō, rua wiki whai muri ake, kua pērā anō. Nā ngā tamariki kei te whai whiwhinga, kei te kōrero mo te NCEA, he mea nui tērā. Nā he mea nui māku hoa mahi, te hoki whakamuri, te āwhina atu I ētahi, kia ao whiwhi I ērā o ngā whiwhinga ki te kore te tamaiti konei ngā rā aro matua he mea anō kia whakarite atu he rā mana maratau ake. Ētahi pia, kāre tino mārama ki te rahi o te raru, ki te kore tō tamaiti konei, kāre a hei te mahi i rā o ngā mahi. Ki te kore mahi ngā mahi, kua kore mōhio, kua kore whiwhi, e ngā whiwhinga. Ki te kore i eke, mea hara. Hey.
E kurangi? E kurangi. E kurangi.
Oh, taiwa. Wa reira ke katoa ngā harangi. E kurangi.
Heoi, he nui ngā akoranga motuhake e whakahaere hia ki konei. He poapua kia tai atu ai ngā tamariki ki te kura.
Something that we've tried to do at kura is make kura fun.
I got it! I think I got it.
Let's have so much going on that they don't want to miss out. Let's have opportunities that they're not going to get at home or anywhere else in the community. And I guess when you're rural like this, well, not a great deal going on. So school has to be really at the pinnacle, I guess, of entertainment, excitement, education. School has to portray all those kind of things and a means to kao mama, ko te marangai kei te pirangi au te haere ki te kura. It's terrible. You got to say we're enticing kids to come to school, but it's reality. It really is reality, you know. And it might very well be that because of technology today, do all our whānau ienei rā put that much value on school? You know, it's all good. My baby's going to take over the farm. He doesn't need any credits. All good. Kei te pai. He's going to go and work on the trucks with uncle. All good. It's a big, huge, wide world out there. Some of our jobs for some of our babies haven't even been thought of yet. That's the kind of idea you'd like to pitch to parents. There's so much more out there. Come on, whānau, let's create those opportunities. Or what can we do to change the current system if we know it's not working? And we've got 4 years worth of evidence now. It's not really a Labour or a national thing. We've got 4 years worth of evidence that shows us that there's been a massive decline in student attendance across the country.
Mana atua, mana tangata, mana whenua, mana moana.
He take ka kōrero tia I wainga nui ngā kaiako o te tai rāwhiti.
E tai pakari ake ana, e tai kare pakari ake ana. Nā reira, me koro anō ahau mo taku kora, anake, poitira ko ki te nainei. Kei te kawe nainei tēnei ki ngā mātua me ngā tipuna. Ke tini ngā whakaaro, ke tuku anō ngā tamariki ki te kura. Me hoki anō ki tērā. Mai rāno tūne tako whakapono, hara mai ki te kura. Tako ki wahare o pāia, come to class, you will pass.
The government is threatening to fine parents. Is that going to work?
No way. And it'll probably bring about a spat of rebellion, really. How are they going to determine what's legitimate and what's not? I'm all for 4-day week, you know? Tuesday to Friday. Or let's start school at 10. Or, you know, I think being creative but looking at change that best suits our current, what our parents do, their lives, their living. The school provides so much, and I'm talking about kids can, Weet-Bix in schools, fruit in schools, lunch in schools. Children don't buy stationery, you know, they don't pay for bus service, the ministry funds all that. Nearly everything is taken care of for parents. All they have to do is get their baby, you know, dressed and ready and get to school.
Nei rā te wero ki ngā mātua, ko te whāinga nui kia tipu kia rea ngā tamariki mō ngā rā o tō rātou ao.
Ngā me Mahi Irena. Hei muri I te wā whakatā. When we come back, we talk to Rob Ruha about the attempt to reclaim the record for the world's largest haka from the French. No mai anō kia kārere tahi a tērā rā tapu, haka luminaries and those who've never done one but always wanted to have a go, and everyone in between will gather at Eden Park to try and set a new world record for the number of people performing ka mate. The record stands at 4,028 and is held by the French. Rob Ruha will be one of those at Eden Park, and he joins me now. Tēnā koe. So good to see you.
Yeah.
The French? What the heck?
Yeah, rubbish. I mean, they're good at, you know, I love French pastries. I love French sweet treats. But, you know, haka waiho.
Aye. What happened? How did they get this? Because it used to be us. We used to hold the record. 3,264 people did the haka ngārua wāhi in 2008. Then in 2014, the French took it. What do you know about that?
Yeah, I do know that the peeps who wanted to take that Guinness Book of Records applied to Guinness Book of Records to take the taonga. They applied also for a lot of backing and then pulled some people together, and away they went. Guinness Book of Records did their thing and signed it all off. And since then, I do know that there have been many attempts to bring it back.
Yes.
And so this is a really exciting opportunity for us to come together, take it back, say who owns this taonga, and show that we own it.
Yeah, and then maybe not let anyone else.
Yeah, and then lock the gate. Lock the gate, no more.
Do you know how? Can we do that? Can we say actually no more?
I think it's a conversation that we should have.
Yeah.
I was a part of a kaupapa celebrating the Y262 claim, which is around a whole heap of stuff, including the protection and preservation of taonga. And haka is a taonga. It's a taonga that obviously the world wants to be a part of, hence the French doing this haka thing and taking that record. But I think it is a discussion that we should be having around the protection of our taonga and the absolute celebration of it, but recognition of no mātou, no te Māori, no Aotearoa tēnei taonga.
Aye. And the thing too with the French taking that record was some of them learned it within 5 minutes of performing it. Some of them had fake mataora and moko kaua. What the heck? And as far as we know, I don't know, were there any Māori in there? And the other thing is, who were the officials presiding over this who said, yeah, actually, you French, you've got this record?
Yeah, and then who constituted that as a haka, let alone decent.
Yeah.
You know, and this is the opportunity that we have. We have the opportunity to come together, Aotearoa whānui, some of the guns in the country, at this taonga, at haka, with us determining this is appropriate standard of performance. Haka, this taonga belongs to us.
Yeah.
This taonga comes from Aotearoa. We all recognise that, and it's our opportunity to stand together and say, hey, no mātou tēnei.
Yeah, and as we say, then to close the gate afterwards if we can. But we have tried before. In fact, the Brits have tried. Australia has tried. We have tried a number of times, and in some cases we had like 4,000 odd people. There was another one with 7,000. Yeah. How come that one failed?
Yeah, well, what I understand is that Guinness Book of Records, their tikanga for signing off a record attempt is quite stringent. There's a lot of different things that they have to take into consideration, which is a part of the point of why we should be doing this, right? Because, you know, this is our taonga, and we should be the ones determining what's appropriate with regards to what meets standards, what meets criteria.
Yeah.
So that's what I understand why I understand that those attempts failed. But what I understand about this particular kaupapa is that we're ready to roll. Ko ka hinewehi, the day mo te motu, the day mo te motu, she's pulled together an amazing team and an amazing array of people who want to support this kaupapa to make sure that one, tikanga matches up, two, performance standard is up there, and three, that we make a collective voice when we say this is the standard, these are the things that should be considered, and mā mātou te rai whakatau.
So for some who might say, why would we bother? The French, it's just a joke. We should just ignore that and not worry about it. What would you say?
Well, I would say, yeah, you're partly right. You're partly right. But I think with regards to the conversation around reclaiming something and really putting a stake in the ground with regards to some international eyes watching, we're in a time where there's this Indigenous global rising of consciousness around Indigenous taonga, Indigenous mātauranga. And this is part of that, I think. This is a part of us saying, no mātou tēnei taonga, this is beautiful Indigenous knowledge. Yes, this is a performance art. And then the front door to access this is through us.
Aye. And what better way, really, than through a haka? It's appropriate to fight for that, isn't it? How many are we hoping for this time around?
I reckon 10,000. 10,000 is, I reckon, achievable. And I reckon will happen. And then I reckon there might be 20,000 at the gate, really. Forcing to come through. But I encourage everyone to come and be a part of this kaupapa. Whether you can be there in person
at Eden Park.
I think at Eden Park, which I think, I mean, this is going to be a historic moment. We're going to be coming together as a nation to perform probably one of the most iconic haka that has ever been in Aotearoa history. And we get the opportunity to do that together. Aotearoa whānui, Māori mai, aha atu rānei mai, tauiwi mai, tangata tiriti mai. We get to stand together and do this and create history. So if you want to make history with us, come.
Okay, so people who want to come or be a part of it, what do they need to know? What details?
The best way, if you want to know anything, if you want to know what the haka is, how to do it, how to perform it, there's a link. hakarecord.co.nz and just click there, tickets to get access there, where the event is happening, who else is performing, all the kaupapa, all the kōrero is there.
Oh, ka pai. And actually, you've raised a good point. You buy tickets, whānau, and the reason that we're buying tickets is because...
beautiful kaupapa, Hine Raukatauri, our beautiful taonga is the namesake of another beautiful taonga, the Raukatauri Music Therapy, and we're fundraising for that kaupapa that uses music as a beautiful healing tool.
Aye, so all of the proceeds will go to support Hine Raukatauri Music Therapy Trust, which is awesome. Let's hope kia kaha e te whānau. Let's hope that we get that. Wouldn't it be awesome to get 20,000? That'd be so cool. Let's talk about just quickly your reflections on te wiki i te reo Māori.
Yeah, he pai te rongo i te reo e kōrero ana mo te wiki kotahi. And there are many families all around the country that's their first language in the country. And I look forward to the day where we don't need a week celebration, where it just becomes this normal thing, not just normal, natural, celebrated taonga that we live iara. But I'm grateful for this starting line. And I see it as a starting line, and the finish line. Well, I've just done that dream and shared that dream with the motu. I
love that. Because we were talking earlier, and I was saying to you, I have such a mixed thing about te wiki o te reo Māori, because I feel like, why do we have this week? You know, we're not just a language. This is the language of our country. And on the other hand, I feel like, well, yeah, actually, it's a really great way to bring attention to what we all need to be to be doing.
And part of that is beautiful too, because that is like, I want more, I want more, I want more, which is choice. So it's doing its job as a starting line, feeding us up, making us feel good, and then I think the greater journey is for us to naturalize that as natural as breathing in the morning, breathing through our beautiful moe hours and our sleeps, and making real like that.
That's my tino momoe. I love that. Ngā mihi e te toa, ngā mihi e hoa.
Tēnā koe.
So good to have you here this morning. Well, hey, muri i ngā whakatairanga. We'll be back with a tale of two perceptions of possums. The mission to radically reduce the possum population in Aotearoa has been given a new impetus by a meeting between Māori, who view possums as a pest, and Aboriginal nations who consider them taonga. It's Te Kuru Juice.
The Australian possum. No matter where you are, he's around somewhere, scooting up trees and eating the leaves, often in the middle of the night.
Ko te paihamu he karare he riha riha, kei ngā kokoru katoa o Aotearoa e ngauana.
A lot of our taonga species are just getting hammered. So possums will eat the leaves, and that stops growth, and then they'll eat the seeds, that stops regeneration. When they get really desperate, they start messing with the bark, or they mark their territory by scratching the bark. So basically the tree's just getting attacked in multiple ways. Any new shoots that come through, they'll eat that. So you've not only got damage to the older trees, but any new trees that could replace them are gone. So ultimately we're losing species that will take 50 years to grow back. Whanei tētahi rākau, hei whakairi tēnei hopu wai, he tōtara tēnei.
He kai aru paihamu a Tame Malcolm nō Ngāti Tarawhai, e whai ana ia I tāna tohu kairangi, e hura ana I ngā rautaki Māori mo te hopu paihamu. Hei tā Tame, e mui a katoati ana ngā whenua o Ngāti Tarawhai e te paihamu.
For a typical podocarp forest, which is Ngāti Tarawhai forest, a healthy forest would probably have one possum per hectare. Less than one possum is ideal. Anei tētahi wāhi pai, e ringi te mōhio kei konei tētahi ara a hi koi ngā paihamu. Unfortunately for us, we're getting about between 50 and 100 possums per hectare. So while it makes trapping them easy, it means our ngahere is being devastated.
Ko ngā tau ko tahi mano warurau toru te kau, mauria mai ai te riha rāwaho nei ki Aotearoa e ngā kainoho whenua Pākehā, me te manako ia ka tū he rāngai tau hoko huruhuru paihamu. E rua te kautau te Pākehā e ngana ana kia ora I te paihamu I konei, nā wai rā, ka horapa, ka iki, ko ngā manu, ko ngā rākau, ko ngā ngārara anō hoki, e kaingia katoati ana ka mutu ko te wāo, hei papa.
It's really surprising to hear the devastation that introduced species have had here. And I can feel and sense there's a lot of hesitation from Māori because I think there's resentment that's been built or created towards the possum. And yeah, I think it's been really nice to be invited here to re-story the relationship and reimagine the relationship with possum here as Aotearoa heads into a predator-free 2050.
E whakarite ana a te tira whakamātaki I ngā kai aru Māori, kia rongo I ngā kōrero I ngā tikanga anō hoki o ngā iwi taketake oahi tereria e pā ana ki ngā paihamu.
We're over here to re-story the possum, to tell hunters and trappers over here what their hard work has done for Aboriginal people in the southeast of Australia in terms of reinvigorating a cultural practice that was taken, that was stopped, that was lost to us.
Possums have been in the top there, eating all the top leaves, so that will stunt the growth of this, and if the possums carried on, we'll probably lose this tree. When we lose that, we lose a whole generation of mahoi in this area because they won't be able to put any more seeds down. So important that we look after all the species, not just one species, and all of the generations, the little ones and the big ones.
Ahakoa he raruraru nui te paihamu i Aotearoa nei. Nō ngā tau whitu te kau whakakorea te tikanga patu paihamu i Ep30, kia tia kina hei taonga i raro i te ture.
A lot of those skills and that knowledge around harvesting native fauna for food have been lost. And that's the same with the possum. People lost that practice and just that knowledge when we stopped harvesting them. And that was the same time that we stopped cloaks. We stopped making cloaks, we stopped using cloaks because we couldn't access possums.
It's colonial violence, and I think that possums here in Aotearoa are also, a manifestation of colonial violence. And although they are different, it is the same systems of European colonialism that has shaped and formed our relationships with possums.
Ahakoa tāmi ana e te ture i Ep30, ko ngā mahi tau hoko kiri paihamu i Aotearoa nei e whakaahei ana i te whānau mahauni ki te kawe tonu i a rātou tikanga.
There are practices that you fellas are doing that we have done also.
We make our cloaks for our children. We make them a small cloak that tells part of their story when they're born. As they grow, we add pelts to our cloaks and their stories grow and their cloak grows with them as an individual. And then as we get older and we pass on, we are wrapped in our cloaks, so wrapped in our stories, and we're sent back to the earth in our stories.
There is no expectation that Māori will feel the same way as we do about possum. It's having the opportunity to share our story and our relationship and being heard and then seeing what comes from that. I think it's an impossible ask to us Māori to love the possum in the same way that we do, but there are understandings that can be gained, I think, in the relationship.
Kei te noho mātua ia nei ki te whiriwhiri, te whakawhiti kōrero ki te iwi o te whenua moe na hea hara ngā ara kei mua i a tātou mo tēnei mea mo torata nei taonga, te mea kia nei hoki ko te kararehe nei te o paihamu. Angara e tūmai nei pēka ki te ake te huarahi, ki te ai te oranga o ngā taha e rua mo tēnei kaupapa, tēnei ki konei ki te haka kāhore, a tērā ki kō, ki te haka mautonu rai warata nei kōrero tuku iho, kia mautonu.
Did these skins up and now they'll be heading over to Australia to our new whanaunga, the iwi takitaki over there.
He oia nō tāta me Malcolm he u ki ana nei mahi whakarauora taia me te aha. Ko ngā huru paihamu ka whai hua hei tikanga ahurea iwi taketake.
So the Aboriginal whānau really like those ginger ones, so the more of those I get, the happier they'll be, they said. One thing that us Ngāti Tarawhai always taught us, be respectful of these things. It's not their fault they're here, and they're not an enemy, they're just sort of having a negative impact on some things that we care about. So I always took this sort of holistic approach of killing possums, but the Aboriginal whanaunga that came over, they said, killing them is a part of their culture, their way of life. And so the take home for me was, let's not be too precious about it. We have to do what we have to do. And also they came, with a lot of humility and apologetic for the damage that the possums were doing. So we sort of got their blessings to kill these things and do what we need to do. So let's not overthink it.
Pono, ako tame e kōrua ko te kuru, ngā mihi nui he tina ki runga, he tāmore ki raro, kia ora koutou katoa. That's Marae for this week. If you want to take part in the Eden Park haka attempt, check out hakarecord.co.nz. The team will be back with you next Sunday. Kia haumaru te noho hei tērā wiki. Ko te reo, te take.